In today's online landscape, the content of your website and how that content is structured plays a major role in how your website ranks on Google. Optimizing your website structure and content for search engines is what we call on-page SEO, which is also sometimes referred to as on-site SEO. It's imperative your on-page SEO is fully optimized if you want to stand any chance of ranking your website high in Google. For that reason, I suggest working through this step-by-step tutorial to ensure your website is properly optimized to attract organic traffic from search engines. The Google algorithm continues to become more intelligent. Long gone are the days when you can simply stuff keywords into an article and instantly rank pages of your website. Now, more than ever, Google is paying attention to the relevancy of your website. Relevancy is a term that explains the depth of your content. In other words, how comprehensive are the topics discussed on the site? Let's use the example of a website based around baseball training. You create a website and produce 4 articles covering different aspects of baseball training. This would be an example of a site that lacks in depth. It is unlikely you will be able to rank this thin of content based around your topic. Instead, you want to expand on each category with more content. You can also expand horizontally to cover more categories related to baseball training. The deeper you go with each category, the more relevance your website has around that topic. Google is making moves to limit the ease at which a website can quickly rise in rankings, so there really is no getting around the fact that you're going to have to create more content to fully capture the relevance of a topic. Not only does the content on your site help determine relevance, but so does the way that content is linked to from within your site. This leads us to our next topic, which is your website internal linking structure. This is also known as silo structure. Silo structure is important for your on-page SEO because it helps spread authority throughout your website as well as enhances the relevance of your web pages. Authority is a term used to describe the power of a website or link in the eyes of a search engine. For example, a website with lots of high authority websites linking to it has been around for a long time and has a ton of content is most likely also going to have high authority. This leads to higher rankings and increased traffic. To explain the silo structure of your website, let's use the following categories from the previous diagram: fitness, batting, and fielding. Disclaimer: the specific structure I'm about to show you is not the only one that works, but for this example, we're going to have a home page with static content, meaning it doesn't change, that will link to our blog category pages using in-text links. These are links within the content of your web page. It's important to have in-text links, or contextual links as they're sometimes called, because they tell Google, using keywords, what each page is about. Each link will have the keywords describing the specific category they're linking to as the anchor text. Anchor text is simply the text that composes the link. Notice how we are linking to the batting blog category page with the anchor text, articles for improving your batting. Google discovers web pages by entering through any page and then following the internal and external links of that site. As the spider crawls your site, it takes note of the language used for linking to each page in order to tell it what your page is about. The next step down is an authority blog post. There is no anchor text linking to this post from the blog page because most blog pages don't have an in-text link option, but obviously this is not always the case. An authority post is simply a long-form post that adds massive value. Oftentimes, these posts are in-depth how-to guides that will make the viewer say, wow. Besides that, they also link to many of your other high-traffic or high-intent blog posts to pass down relevance and authority from the inbound links that these posts often attract. We complete the cycle by placing descriptive links in our blog posts, pointing back to various pages higher up in our website structure. We can also link in between blog posts with relevant anchor text when appropriate. This structure ensures that no matter where a backlink points into our website, the authority passed on will trickle through to the rest of our pages. This way you utilize every single one of your backlinks to its fullest potential, which leads to needing less backlinks in total. This requires less time and money investment from you. Lastly, let's quickly direct our attention towards the home page. Notice how if all you did was look at the links pointing to the home page, you'd easily be able to guess what the page is about. Baseball training blog, learning how to train for baseball, best websites for little league coaches. More importantly, notice how the anchor text is different for each link. Make sure to vary your anchor text as much as possible. Linking with the same phrasing, in this case baseball training blog, a spammy amount of times on your website can get your website slapped with a Google penalty. This applies to internal links as well as backlinks to your blog. You don't have to stress about this, just don't spam. If you haven't already, make sure to check out the keyword research video I made that teaches you how to quickly get variations for your keywords. Now that we have a clean structure for our website, we want to tell Google exactly how it should be crawled. This leads us quite smoothly into the Google Sitemap section of this on-page tutorial. A sitemap is a document displaying the structure of your website and tells search engines how to index it. Indexing is just a fancy way of describing the act of a search engine finding, searching through, and storing the information of your website. Having a sitemap is good for SEO as well as getting your website indexed faster. For this reason, I use the WordPress plugin called Google XML Sitemap, which automatically generates a sitemap URL for your website. You can still make a sitemap yourself even if you don't use WordPress or you just want a custom designed page, but I choose to use this because it's easy and fast. Download and activate the plugin, then simply head on over to yourdomain.com/sitemap.xml and you'll see a page similar to this one. Now head on over to Google Search Console to submit your sitemap URL to Google. If you haven't already, you will have to create a Google Webmasters account. You'll be prompted to verify your ownership of said website. In order to do this, copy the HTML tag code that is supplied as shown here. Go back to your WordPress dashboard, click on Editor under the Appearance tab, find a theme header file, then paste in an HTML within the head section. The first step to optimizing the content on your website is to produce high-quality articles. Don't get caught up in stuffing your writing with the right keywords. Instead, focus on answering the reader's questions as efficiently as possible. Let's discuss my personal process for creating high-quality blog posts for your website. This process assumes you don't already know everything about the topic and that you're writing for an information-based niche. Start by typing your keywords into Google and click through some of the high-ranking sites. Take notes on the following things. What are they doing well? What do people compliment in the comments section? What do you like about the design/layout? What can be improved? Do they only give a shallow discussion, or do they thoroughly cover the topic? Could you provide more proof of concept? Could they make it more concise, more structured, more engaging? Look in the comments section, but this time for questions from readers. These questions were perhaps not addressed in the article. Add these to a spreadsheet, as well as any topics that you see that you also want to include in your blog post. Now, head back to Google search and type in the following: site:/Quora.com, quotes, your keyword, end quotes. This Google search operator will display all the questions on Quora containing your exact keyword. The quotes indicate the result must have the exact phrasing you placed in them. In this case, it may make sense to keep this broad if your keyword phrase is really specific. Copy the questions people are asking onto your spreadsheet. Replace Quora with any related forms within your niche. This will bring up form threads related to your topic. Copy one of the form URLs and use it in the Google search operator as seen here. You can replace X with any of these question terms such as how can I, when can I, why is it, how is it, what do I, need help, please help, and so on and whatever else works. Copy and paste relevant questions into your Google spreadsheet. For these searches, you can also click through to each question/thread and look through the replies. Many times there are some amazing replies providing great insight which you can take and add to your own content. Create a Google/Word document for the structuring of your content. We're going to be creating a bullet list to start quickly brainstorming the different sections of our blog post. Go through each broad topic and create nested bullets that further define the main bullet. Continue this process as deep as you possibly can go. Now look through the content curation spreadsheet for any sections that you may have missed in your bullet list and add these to the appropriate nested bullet. These could come from the topics discussed in the competition's articles or from the various questions you wrote down. At this point, you should have a content skeleton that not only addresses all the minor subcategories of a topic, but also answers the pressing questions people have on the web. This right here is how you make authority content. This is how to dominate an information niche. Now that you have the skeleton of your content, create a new Google or Word doc. Write down the various sections of your content. The first level bullets are H2 headers, the second level bullets are H3 headers, and so on. Note, your headers have some importance in SEO, so let's quickly go over some rules of thumb. H1 header carries the most importance for telling search engines what your page is about. H2 less, H3 even less, and so on as you progress downward. You should only have one H1 header per page, and you'll want to include your keyword in this header. There is no limit to the amount of subheaders, H2, H3, and so on, but you want to make sure each is different. Take advantage of H2 and H3 for adding relevant keywords to your content. This will help give your article more relevance in Google's eyes. Before you start writing out your content, let's do a little keyword research to help optimize our page for search engines. Go to a tool called Yoast Suggest. Begin by typing in your H2 and H3 headers one at a time. This will bring up a ton of keyword variations. These more specific keyword phrases are what we'll call long tail keywords. Use appropriate long tail versions of your keywords to capture as much traffic as possible to your blog posts. You'll want to do a little more in-depth keyword research for your H1 header tags, which are going to be the titles of your articles, which can also be learned in the keyword research video linked on this screen. At this point, this is when you start researching and writing your article. I like to do a rough draft that covers all the information I can find and write on a given section. Then I'll go back through to significantly shorten the article as well as sprinkle in relative terms and keywords where appropriate. Remember, being concise is an absolute must. Provide as much value in the least amount of words possible. It's good practice to have at least one image on each page of your website. Having images improves the look and allows you to break up the content in readable chunks. There are a few tweaks you want to do with all of your images to optimize them for search rankings. With images, you have the option to control the file name, description, and alt text. I don't generally fill in a description section, but will edit the file name and alt text. Keep the language for both the file name and alt text natural. Don't over-optimize here by avoiding the overuse of your main keyword. Best practice is to make this text descriptive of what the image is supposed to communicate, rather than worry about putting in keywords. Image size is another thing that you should be aware of. There is a sacrifice that has to be made in the design of your website. The sacrifice is between design and website speed. You can make a website look beautiful with stunning images, but it doesn't necessarily mean the website will load fast. Generally, it's the opposite scenario. For this reason, not only do I limit the amount of imagery on my sites, I also try to optimize the file size of the images. When I say size, I am not talking about how large the image is displayed on the site. You can display an image with high resolution, large file size on your website in a small area, but this is still going to slow the loading speed of your site. There are many ways to get around this, but my favorite is to download a cool plugin called Smush. Smush will allow you to bulk compress image sizes on your website. Best thing about Smush is that the free version is more than enough to get the job done. Your URLs play an important part in your website SEO. Google has changed significantly from its earlier days when having a keyword in your URL could make or break your rankings. However, URLs still play an important role in on-site optimization. It's important to have exact match or partial match keywords in the URL tag for the main keyword you are trying to rank for each specific page or post. With this being said, it is also important to not over-optimize. In the example below, my main keyword is Gun Safety Course New Hampshire for this specific inner page. I could have made the URL for this page that exact keyword phrase at the end. However, this is over-optimized and unnecessary. I shortened the extension to Safety Course since the domain already contains the words gun and New Hampshire. Google will take into account the proximity of words, so this is a much cleaner title in Google's eyes. Additionally, you want the URL to be as short as possible in terms of the amount of backslashes in the URL. Avoid URLs that have slash, a bunch of numbers, a bunch of letters, etc., as each new slash will dilute the strength of your URL. You can change the URL structure in WordPress by clicking on the Settings and then Permalinks tab. Then change your URL to post title. Your metadata is the information displayed on search engine result pages. This can be controlled on a WordPress website using a plugin called Yoast SEO. Your metadata includes your title tag and a description. Your title isn't as important in terms of SEO as it used to be, but is still an important factor for your on-page SEO strategy. You can keep your title fairly similar to the H1 header of your post, but keep in mind you have a limited amount of characters that will be displayed. I suggest checking out your competition's titles as well to get some ideas on what is already working. The description doesn't have any SEO weight, but is still important to complete as this can have an effect on whether people click through to your site or not. Focus here on making a description that pops and makes the person want to read more. Still try to fit in the keywords as Google will bold these terms, which will help your listing stand out. The art of website speed optimization is huge when in the world of SEO, and for good reason. Google is looking for websites that function efficiently. They didn't get to where they are at today by providing their users with bad experiences. Attention span on the internet is short. For this reason, businesses have to capture it fast with a quick loading website. Otherwise, the viewer will leave before even seeing your site. This low time on site is a bad ranking signal, and steps should be taken to mitigate it. The one thing that will produce the most significant decreases in loading speed is your website hosting provider. Hosting can be expensive. It's so easy for people to skimp on their hosting with the hopes of saving a few bucks. I urge you to take your hosting seriously. SiteGround Hosting has proven to be one of the fastest companies on the web for their price. You probably won't hear SiteGround's name thrown around much on the web, but don't let that fool you. This company is much faster than many big name providers like Bluehost, DreamHost, WP Engine, HostGator, and more. Not only that, but SiteGround is as cheap, if not cheaper, than most of them. There are multiple reasons why I believe anyone serious about creating a business online should utilize SiteGround hosting. Free SSL, which is another SEO plus, free domain, SSD servers, and much, much more. Additionally, if you have a student email, you can sign up for their student discount, which is some of the cheapest hosting you can find on the web, at $1.99 a month. I put the link to these deals in the description below this video. How light and clean your website code is makes a huge difference in how fast your website loads. Most people reading this probably have most of their experience using WordPress. Utilizing WordPress themes is the same as using pre-made packets of code. Some themes are built better than others. Most people are only looking at themes with design in mind. However, design and speed don't always go together. A site may look beautiful on the outside, but be a pile of convoluted junk on the inside. With free themes, you get what you pay for. You may be able to achieve your design goals, but your website speed may be slow. However, if you are determined to keep your total cost low, then my favorite free theme to use is called Sparkling. Sparkling theme has a ton of great theme features as well as fairly clean coding, increasing your speed. If you have the money, I'd recommend going with a premium theme. This will allow you more customization in terms of design and most likely better code. Some of the fastest and most beautiful premium themes you can get are Avada and Hcode. Both of these themes have an insane amount of features, which is great if you have the time to really get to learn the system, but can be intimidating at the beginning, so keep that in mind and be patient learning. The last section of this on-page SEO tutorial is going to be about engagement signals. There still really isn't any definitive evidence on whether Google uses engagement signals in their ranking algorithm. There are a ton of SEOs that believe that Google does look at engagement signals, and I am one of those. If at least not now, engagement signals are going to play an ever-increasing role in the future as artificial technology continues to become insanely accurate at judging human behavior. However, since there's no hard evidence as of yet, we will just touch upon each of these aspects. Search visits. These are visits only coming from people using a search engine. Think about it. If the majority of people searching for how to swing a baseball bat are clicking on the 8th ranking website on the first page, don't you think this would tell Google that the site is most relevant and should be ranking higher? How do you optimize for this? This is where having a high converting meta title and description come in. Make the viewers want to click your website over the others. This will increase your click-through rate and convince the big G you're worthy. Total visits. Many SEOs are claiming that some of their sites have received significant boosts in rankings after receiving high volumes of website total visits. What does this mean for you? Well, this means that driving traffic to your site, either through social media or paid advertising, may actually help you rank higher to get more organic clicks from Google. Direct visits. People typing in your exact domain in their URL bar count as a direct visit. This may tell Google that you are a legit business and have return visitors that love your content and company. Time on site. If people are spending a long time on your site, it tells Google that your site has met the viewer's needs. Google wants their users to reach the best possible content so that they maintain their user base. For this reason, they want to rank your site higher if it is fulfilling their users' needs. Bounce rate. This is the percentage of people leaving your site who only viewed one page. In the past, it was more likely to be able to rank a one-page website for a given keyword. Google has continually cracked down on these one-page websites because they want to discourage SEOs from gaming the system. For this reason, it would make sense Google would encourage sites that have depth through giving them higher rankings. You can optimize for this by first creating a deeper site. Then secondly, by having clear steps on each page on where the user should go next. Page views. This is how many pages users of your website have viewed in total. This has the same explanation as bounce rate and time on site. That's it for the video, guys. I want to commend you for making it this far through this tutorial, as most people wouldn't have the dedication or drive to do so. You know pretty much everything needed to get started with your on-page SEO at this point. Make sure to check out the description below, which has all the resources talked about throughout this guide, as well as links to next videos in this video series on creating niche websites. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more of these detailed online marketing guides, as well as give this video a thumbs up if you like the content. Write any questions or comments you may have in the comment section below this video, and I'll reply back to you as fast as I can. With that being said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.